We're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Harp Effect with Marcia, Yo Reno, and our very special guest today, Mara Brown.
Hi, everybody.
And on Mara's lap is Sparkle. See
Hi,
this?
everybody.
Isn't it interesting how we come up with these different people that just have these fabulously wonderful careers that it's so giving and oh my gosh. And so we met Mara at KESQ one day when I was doing a thing up there, and we just hit it off, and we're talking, and you had Sparkle with you,
Sparkle was there. And her KESQ debut.
And we said, so we found, well, through Frankie Mamoni, who had you come to his home and do her work, and it was like a very successful encounter. But I think that the best thing to do is to turn this over to Mara and let's introduce her and all the wonderful things. There's a fundraiser coming up that we'll get to, and she's on KESQ every Friday, correct?
On Fox 11, yes.
On Fox 11.
At 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock.
Following the local news.
That means today. Today she will be on KESQ at 1 o'clock, Fox 111. Did I say it?
Fox Network 11, Channel 11 on Fox.
We have a thing about numbers 111, so it's in her brain.
And do not put a TV remote control in my hand, because I don't respond. My feet work, my hand, I don't know. Anyway, Mara, I'm going to let you start talking about your business and what you do, and how you got into it and all that sort of thing.
Well, first of all, Marcia and Rena, thank you so much for having me and Sparkle on your show. It's such a great show, and we're both honored to be on it. So thank you. It's just wonderful.
Oh, our pleasure.
We were on KESQ to talk about my brand new show, which is called The Life Coach for Dogs and Their Humans. And it's basically a reality show that follows me around doing what I do. And what I do, I'm a master dog behaviorist.
Master dog behaviorist. Does that sound like a wonderful way to spend?
Not just a pet sitter.
No, I do not do pet sitting. But I could tell you why your dog does that crazy thing it does that drives you insane. And then I can fix it. So I go into people's homes and I figure out why their dog is doing what it's doing, the problem behavior. And then I also explain the human-dog interplay, the connection between the two, because people often don't realize that there's a huge interaction between the human, right, what the human's feeling, thinking, doing, the energy they're projecting, and the dog behavior, right? So we work on both ends. In fact, that's how I got into this in the first place, Marcia. I had worked with humans, fixing humans for 20 years. I worked with very high-end level executives and politicians and entrepreneurs, Fortune 500 companies, fixing humans. And sometimes...
Dogs must be easy after that.
Right? and sometimes in the course of doing that, I felt that the person would really benefit from having a dog. And they would often never have had a dog before. So I said, well, I could help you through it. So it was actually through my clients who suggested that I open a piece of the business for dogs. And that's how the business eventually became called Life Coaching for Dogs and Their Humans. Because I've always had a gift with animals, not just dogs, but cats and horses and even dolphins and even black mamba snakes and elephants but I'm fluent.
Wow. Black mamba snakes.
Black mamba snakes.
Wow.
But I'm fluent in dog. I'm fluent in dog. The other species I just get by, but fluent in dog. So so it's definitely fun. So I'm super excited about this show. So we basically go into somebody's home and we meet the person, we hear about the presenting problem, and then you could learn about my dog behavior model that I put together. And what that is the language of dogs, which I feel is energy, instinct, association, and reflection. So So I'll always go through that model in every episode and explain it so that if you watch the show, you can really learn about dogs. Like my whole mission in doing the show, in doing what I do, is to help people learn about their dogs so that we don't have dogs returned to the shelter. So here in America, all around the world, but specifically here in America, we're still killing over 1 million dogs a year. That's 3,000 dogs a day, if you think about it that way. And a quarter of that is owner surrendered. So my mission in life, my passion, is to at least affect that number. So if I could stop that number, right, the owner surrender dogs, then I will feel I had accomplished something here on this earth. Because we're killing dogs for what? Because they don't have a home.
Out of
for
convenience,
their prime of,
too.
Yeah, exactly,
Out of convenience.
So to me, that's unacceptable. I think we have to get more educated, and that is, I feel my mission, my purpose. I want to do that, but I always like to do it with heart and with humor and with great love for both the dog and the human.
So do you find that most cases when somebody has to give up their animal, there's actually other reasons why that can be solved?
Always.
They're kind of jumping to the conclusion that they have to do that.
They're jumping the gun.
Yeah.
For example, one of the episodes we shot recently that will be airing coming up probably in November is with this beautiful couple who I adore because they adopted this Chihuahua who they were the third home. And they were told the dog was a bit of a brat when in fact they found out that the dog was a huge biter. Right? And because no one had corrected it. So these little dogs, especially little Chihuahuas, they learn, right, how to protect themselves and how to get what they want by biting, by using their mouths, and no one stops it because everyone thinks, oh, they're so little, they're so cute, it's not going to hurt. But eventually they grow bigger, and of course it does hurt. And even as puppies, their teeth are sharp. So it went from home to home to home. And then they were living in constant fear of being bitten by their dog. And anytime they went to put on the harness or feed their dog, the dog literally bit the hand that fed them. And kudos to these women, they knew that if they gave up the dog would be put down.
Right.
The dog had a bite history. Once you bring a dog to a shelter and the dog has a bite history, it's not going to be good for the dog, right? The dog will likely not get adopted out. It's very unlikely, and often they will be put down. So they wanted to fix it. And guess what? We fixed it. And they're just thrilled. And they went from telling me, they keep Band-Aid and Neosporin in business to now we're going to have to find another company to keep in business, like maybe dog treats.
Right.
Well, what a valiant goal. I mean, and to know that you have this, I assume it's a gift because you have so much passion for what you're saying that you explain it.
Well, thank you for saying that, Marcia. It is a gift that I have, but I also can teach it so that you can understand, right, why your dog is doing what it's doing. You know what I'm saying? That's why
How
this
about
show.
men?
All the women say to me, "Can you fix my husband too?" Yes, I can, lady.
There's a need for that.
Right? So, and a lot of times, our dogs, and also our cats, by the way, are trying to be in service to us and helping us, which then we see presenting as a problem. So, for example, I had at one point this huge, large breed dog that this family called me in on, and they said we made an appointment for euthanasia with the vet because the dog has become stupid, these are their words, stupid, lazy, aggressive towards children, all children, and aggressive towards certain breeds of dogs or certain dogs. And we've made this appointment, so we have the appointment, but we were told that you're the best and you could create miracles, and so we're just gonna see what happens here. So imagine the pressure on that. So it turned out what had happened was 6 months earlier, the father in the thing, so the woman who hired me, her husband, and then they had a teenage son, he had died suddenly.
The son?
The father.
Oh, the father.
The father, so the husband/father. So when I walked in that home, I could feel the energy was dark and heavy. And what the dog was in fact doing was trying to take on their grief and soak it up for them so that the dog was trying to lessen their load. And so when we take on grief or stress, what happens? Do we feel like going out dancing? No. We want to lie on the couch. If somebody looks at us sideways, do we want to lash out at them, right? It's like you could go like this to me all day long, right? But if I have a burn there, you can't even come near it, right? So that's what was happening with the dog. Dogs need balance. They seek balance. And what happens? Children, what's their energy? Kind of crazy, right? And some dogs, they have the same balance.
Right.
And when I found out what kind of dogs the dog went after, it was those dogs that were very off balance. So I told them what was going on. And I said, at the end of our coaching sessions, your dog is going to be able to do agility with you. You're going to take your dog to agility. And they were like, that will never happen. The dog's lazy, stupid, aggressive. And so I said, it will happen, I promise you. And the dog, which was sitting beside me on the couch, got up, walked over the assistant, the son, sat right in front of the mother, and sat down and looked at it and put its paw up on her, like as if to say, please, Mom, I can do this.
Listen to her.
Everybody got goosebumps in the room, and needless to say, that is exactly what happened.
It gives me chills, like comfort.
And at the end of the last session, they were crying because they're like, we were going to murder, basically, we're going to kill this dog that was giving its quality of life in service to us. So it's very important to understand. Once you really understand why your dog is doing these things, and then of course understanding the tools. And yes, sometimes you have to hire a trainer, a behaviorist, a professional to come into your home to help with the dog. But when you really understand why your dog is doing what it's doing, a lot of times people think that the dog is doing what it's doing to piss them off.
Right? Well, that's because we're thinking from a human standpoint.
And dogs have many motivations for doing what they do, but trust me when I say that to piss you off intentionally is never one of them. Never one of them. So please know that.
Make a note.
Make a note, right? So so it is very, very gratifying. And 99% of things can be fixed. I mean, there are dogs that are chemically off balance, just like people. That might need medication, but everything else I can fix.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And the humans always learn something about themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then we fix that too.
Because as humans, we are so quick to whine, blame, and complain. Mm-hmm. And if the dog happens to be that target, and the dog's like, why me, right?
Right.
And you help bring that out in our human thinking.
Yes.
I love it.
And, I often say to people, you may not get the dog you want, but you'll always get the dog you need. Right?
Say that again. Say that again.
Say that again.
You may not always get the dog you want, but you will always get the dog you need.
Yeah.
So, for example, if your issue in the moment is working on anger or patience or whatever is coming up for you in your own soul's journey, right, to heal, that kind of thing is going to be what your dog is going to bring up for you to do. I had a client and she is studying to be a meditation teacher. And so she goes, this week I'm all about nonviolence. I said, well, first of all, let's not say nonviolence, because what is nonviolence? It's against violence. How about we say, this week we're all about peace. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm a big believer in saying what you're about.
Your way of thinking.
Right? Not what you're not about, right? And she learned that her dog was bringing up all of this anger that she'd had, stuff from all these years, and there was trauma. We all have trauma in life, and as now she's on this path to become this spiritual teacher, it's time for that stuff to be healed, right? So the dog is helping bring that up, but it got to the point where the dog was presenting such a problem that she was going to look to potentially rehome the dog.
Oh.
Right? So once she learned that the dog was her teacher, and we fixed her stuff, the dog stuff, and now of course they're two peas in a pod and super happy and wonderful. But our dogs are truly there. I think there's no mistake that dog is God spelt backwards.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Oh!
So
if you missed that, yes,
I think
dog
coyotes kinda
spelled
mean this.
backwards is God.
Yes.
I think there's a relationship with coyotes too along the same line. I heard something, they're like God's chosen dog or something. I read that years ago. because they're survivalists.
Well, they're survivalists, and I'm really glad you brought coyotes up because I know that this podcast goes everywhere worldwide. But for those of you who are watching in the desert, coyotes are becoming a huge issue.
Yes.
We are taking their habitat. It is not their fault. They are survivalists. But please close out your doggy doors. If you live in the desert, I'm asking all my clients to board them up. Coyotes are coming in, getting the dogs. Do not let your dogs in your backyard even for a second. Unfortunately, I've had to work with people on their next dog.
Wow.
Even for a second you turn your back outside with your dog, it happens. So it's a very, very big problem. So please be aware. There are also coyote vests you can buy online.
Coyote what?
Vests. It's like anti-coyote.
Oh, I've seen those.
It's vests with little spikes.
Yeah.
That is so the coyote can't bite down on the dog. And, I live in a neighborhood that is not on a golf course. We're in a neighborhood, and I have 8 to 10 foot walls surrounding my entire property, as do my neighbors. And my neighbor texted me the other day in the middle of the day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because people think, oh, it's just dawn and dusk, they come out. No, middle of the day, this coyote had jumped a 10-foot wall and was sitting on their lounge chair by their pool.
Oh my gosh.
Waiting for their dog to come out, because they usually in the afternoon had let their dog out in the afternoon to just hang out in the backyard. So the coyotes learn what your schedules are as well. Very smart. And people say, well, I have a big dog, it's not a problem. Coyotes are hyper intelligent. They have now strategized that they will get the littlest one in their pack to come and engage your dog in play and slowly move your larger breed dog out further and further away. And then when the dog is out far enough, boom, the pack will come and surround it. So I just deplore everybody, please be aware of your dog and where your dog is and where you are. Always just have eyes on your dog.
Yeah, the coyotes go anywhere in the desert. It doesn't matter where you live.
Yeah.
How can we discourage that?
Discourage the coyotes?
The coyotes.
You can't.
Let's send them to
Stop
someplace
building.
else.
Stop all this development, which we're not going to be able to do. I mean, it's not their fault. We are taking their habitat. We've had a lot of development. So we can't blame the coyotes.
You can't blame them.
We can't blame them. It is what it is. But we have to have, again, awareness is everything. Awareness is key. And once you're aware and you know, then you could behave a little differently and just always have eyes on your dog and close up your doggy door.
Yeah, I want to say something earlier, what you were saying about dogs' awareness. I was at a coffee house one day and was talking to a lady who was an attorney. And one day she had her Labrador, had to bring her dog to work. And she's dealing with this couple going through a divorce, and they're like bickering, one's crying. And next thing you know, the lab put his head on her lap. She immediately stopped crying. The husband, he stopped yelling. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about how the psyche of an animal knows. And make a long story short, they didn't get a divorce.
Wow. Oh, see, dog, God, dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so she always brought her dog with her after that. Yeah. You know, if she knew the husband and wife or whoever were going to be talking, it was like, wow.
Well, speaking of Frankie, who we met together, who I worked with his dogs, he says to me that one of his dogs is a healer. He said he will lick a sore and it will literally heal. And, I have a number of people ask me all the time. They said they got a dog, and then after they got their dog, just their pet dog, were diagnosed with diabetes. And they'll say to me, Mara, my dog will alert me when my blood sugar drops. They were not trained as a diabetic alert dog. How is that even possible?
Right.
And I will say, well, your dog knows you. So what happens when your blood sugar drops? Your body chemistry changes. What happens? You smell different.
Oh.
So your dog will know, hey, something's up, and it will let you know. Dogs are, can be very, very sensitive.
Well, I had a 100-pound golden retriever that and not a day goes by that I don't miss him. And I can now adapt, understand what you're saying, because he was just always there for me. Saved my life once from a potential problem. And it's like, how did he know? How did he know this? But as someone said he could have run for mayor of Mill Valley and he would have won.
Yeah, well, that's why you gotta love Idlewild, where they have a mayor that is a golden retriever called Max. Did you know that?
No.
What's his
their
name?
mayor is a golden retriever called Max. And if you go to Idlewild, you can meet him. Sparkle met Mayor Max. Yep. Beautiful golden. You gotta love a little town like that.
Oh my goodness.
Because I know our cats and our dogs, you know, their energy and frequency and vibration, they're more attuned to it. How do you feel about people who only walk their dogs on the asphalt versus trying to get them out on the grass?
Well, the asphalt, you've got to be really careful, especially in the desert in the summer, because it can get so hot as to burn your dog's paws.
Yes.
Always, as a rule of thumb, put your hand down on the asphalt, on the cement,
Yes.
right? On the concrete. Feel it. If it's hot for your hand, it's going to be too hot for your dog's paws. So, you know, and it's like humans, right? If we walk barefoot in the grass, we're grounded.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing. Same with dogs. Dogs, you know, cats, like I say, I'm not fluent in, but I would imagine cats love grass too. They're very connected to nature. But when dogs can walk in the grass, it's grounding them, right? So it's doing really good, healthy things for.
And we get to feed off of it.
And we get to feed off that for sure. We're always connected, feeding off energetically between ourselves and our dogs.
Well,
Always.
Mara, I know we probably have people watching who wonder how they can reach you and book an appointment or however you operate.
Sure. So you just go to my website, www.lifecoachingfordogs.com. I am, you know, local in the desert, but I will do FaceTime if it's further away. So anyone watching from anywhere, you could definitely work with me. And please tune into the show. The show is local here on Fox 11, but after each episode airs, I'm going to be uploading them to YouTube. So you'll be able to watch all the different episodes.
Super.
And the episodes are great because they cover, as I said, different issues, right? So, and I'm trying to cover issues that are common for people. Jumping, pulling, barking, you know, all of these things that so many people have problems with. You know, I've just worked with the episode that's going to air next week is an Akita that charges the door. You know how big those are?
Right.
So, you know,
I always wanted one.
You know, if you get one, hire me, because you have to. There are dogs that certain breeds that you really need to be able to be their leader.
Well, somebody
right?
said that had an Akita, and I said, I want one of those. And they said, Marcia, you could not handle one. That made me want it more.
You could handle it if you're taught properly how to be
right,
with the dog, right?
exactly.
So, yeah. So, and it's very important, like counter surfing. I mean, this dog had gotten things off the counter, ended up at the vet for 3 days, nearly died. So these are things that, you know, I'm trying to teach people so that when you're watching the episode, you could learn as if I'm in your home talking to you.
And you know that Reno will put up this information, her website, and how you can contact Mara Brown for your dog's behavior. And this is exciting to me because until I met you just a few weeks ago, I had no idea that there was such a person around anywhere.
Right.
And Rita, why don't you check before she goes into her fundraiser to see if anybody has been tuning in? And see, people will tune in.
And ask questions?
Yeah.
Well, great.
Rebecca Smith Maloney?
Becky, she's a high school friend of mine from Barnesville, Ohio.
Wow.
And she's such a good supporter. And now you probably have a dog, so you might want to contact.
We got David J. Gerson.
Hi, David.
Hi, David. Is Gershon?
Yeah. Do you know?
Hi, David. Well, the name is very familiar. Yes. And there'll be playbacks on this, and we'll get other people. Last week's show had over 500 views.
That's wonderful.
And so, anyway, I know that you have a fundraiser coming up, and let's tell the people.
So, I'm doing a fundraiser with a girlfriend of mine, Lori Chevalier. We're doing it at her private home in Ironwood. We did it last year, and everyone who came said it was the best party they were ever at, bar none. So we're doing everything the same. So we're hiring the Dreamboats. They are going to come and perform. The Westin is catering it. Tom from the Westin, who did such an amazing job last year. And we're raising money for the Palm Springs Animal Shelter. And they do incredible things in the community. They're so important to our community. I partner with them on everything that I do. In fact, they're an integral part of my TV show, because at the end of every episode, we end at the shelter talking to Dan Rossi, the executive director, highlighting a dog that's up for adoption, and Aidan will highlight a particular issue or something that the Palm Springs Animal Shelter is doing. So I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of the Palm Springs Animal Shelter, and very excited to be able to do this fundraiser for the second year for them. It is coming up soon, Thursday, November 7th, from 4 to 7. If you go, I think it's psanimalshelter.org/dreamboats. It should take you right to buy tickets, or just call the shelter, or just go to their main website.
Palm Springs Animal Shelter.
Palm Springs Animal Shelter.
Okay, Palm Springs Animal Shelter for her fundraiser on November the 7th, 3 or 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And there'll be dancing, food. We have a great silent auction. We have about 25 items. Last year we sold out. So we cap it at 150 people, because again, it is in a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful private residence.
How
and so
wonderful.
Get your tickets soon, because we're going to be probably selling out again.
Yes, get your tickets.
And I know the Dreamboats, they're a phenomenal group.
Oh my gosh, they're
The
like
Dream-
4
oh.
guys.
Dreamboats.
They're 4 guys. They are hot energy, amazing. Oh my God, they put on the best show. They are so much fun. Dance floor was full. Everyone had a great time. We're serving wine and alcohol and food. And it's going to be a fun time. And as I said, we'll have great
But think
silent
about
auction
what
items.
the funding, the donations will provide for animals and the Palm Springs Animal Shelter. And so I just want to give a little heads up, like, because we met through Frankie Mamoni, basically.
Yes.
And so, yes, I want to remind everybody that Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock at the Arthur Newman Theater, housed in the Jocelyn Center, another cabaret performer, Tommy Dodson, will be doing his show at 3 o'clock on Sunday, this coming Sunday afternoon. So don't forget that the Sunday afternoon cabaret series will go on until the end of May. And I'm involved with that with Mr. Frankie Mamoni, and that's
he is amazing. I will say, he is incredible. And please tune in. I think his episode's going to air November 1st to hear his story, because his story is insane. And what we've done to help him and his dogs, it was very, very gratifying for me, because I think he's such an incredible human being.
Oh, yes.
And I was just so happy to be able to help him in that way. So please tune in and watch his episode.
What I know about it is his dogs were afraid of the water and whatever. There was a lot around.
Stay tuned.
But
don't give it away.
Don't give it all away.
Don't give it away.
Don't give it away.
Okay, that's it.
Tune in. It's a pretty
tune
exciting
in. Well, do we have anything that we need to add to this absolutely wonderful time with you, Mara? Thank you so much
for having me, and Sparkle. Thank you so much. It was just such a pleasure to be with you.
I like to think like people attract like people, and it just amazes me what she does and how she shares it. And how she works. And so those of you who, like she said, even if you live far away, she can do work on Zoom, FaceTime or Zoom. Oh, so there are some things about high tech that I really do approve of.
Right.
And is that it for Reno? We'll put the ad out this weekend so that you will be able to connect with Mara. And as you all know, you can always call me, 415-383-5770. And
let me say one more thing. Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
If you tune into the show and if you like it and you glean something from it, please call the station. Let them know, because it's a brand new show. We just started 2 weeks ago. Oh, my bird is in agreement. I don't know if you can hear the bird just went crazy saying, yes, call the station.
Call.
Call. Let them know.
I wondered what what that was.
Right? That's my bird going, yes.
Did you
So-
see? Oh no, you don't do face. Reno had just a fabulous picture of a hummingbird out that he set up on, and you could see the hummingbird doing the feeder that he made.
Oh, beautiful. I love hummingbirds.
So
We had a
I
nest
know
out there
we
the
all
other day.
love birds and animals, and Mara just takes it to the next level, okay? And so happy to have you with us, and as you know, I wish that may everything that has been reduced to noise in you become music again. And friendship and music and dogs has no distance. Thank
Bye,
you all.
everybody.
Bye, guys.
I gotta go turn off. You're still on.
What? Love you.